In the lead up to the vote on the new constitution, we've been hearing a range of views on the proposal, and today we hear from a governance expert. Michael Gorton is a lawyer. He's acted for a number of colleges. He's been instrumental in drawing up the constitutions of many of those colleges, and he's also chair of APRA. Michael, welcome.
Thanks, Ali.
How well placed are you to give an objective assessment of this proposed constitution?
Well, to some extent, that's for others to judge, but I have been involved with medical colleges for over 30 years. I have drafted the constitutions of quite a number of them over that period of time, so I've seen the trends, the changes, the important issues for medical colleges as they have changed over time. I'm also on a number of corporate boards, the Royal Melbourne Hospital, chair of APRA, which is the health regulator in Australia, and a number of other boards as well. So very familiar with both the theoretical side of governance as well as the practical side.
So what is your assessment of what's being proposed?
This is probably no different than many of the other colleges have faced in recent times. It's the challenge of the medical colleges becoming larger and having to deal with a lot more governance and operational and management issues. And it's part of a trend to have a smaller board that looks at operations and management, and a wider council that looks at policy, advocacy and stakeholder engagement, dealing with government issues, those sorts of things. The College of GPs is a $60 million organisation. It needs sound management, financial management, risk management, a whole range of issues that is very operational. And like many of the other larger colleges, it's decided to go down the pathway of having a smaller board to look after management issues, whilst retaining membership involvement in a council that deals with the big policy and strategic issues that the colleges face these days.
In your view, is that the right decision, the right split?
Absolutely. I don't see how colleges with a board of 20 people can carry out their directors' duties and obligations covering all of that range of issues.
That said, the current board is not 20 people.
The current board is a larger number and it still needs to split between operational on the one hand and policy on the other. I would have thought members would want to focus on the policy issues to a great extent. And many boards are also moving towards a more skill-based board, so they may have a financial person on the board who isn't necessarily a member of the college, a lawyer on the board. I'm actually an independent lawyer, member of the Board of Emergency Medicine, because they felt that they needed to have other skills on the board whilst they look at those management and operational issues.
What about the argument that while the college is a member-based organisation, this new proposed structure actually removes the members from the board in the sense that there's more of a disconnect, if you like?
If the board is really looking at management operations, I don't see the disconnect. If the membership is still vitally involved in advocacy, policy, stakeholder engagement, I think that is the space where a membership-based organisation relies on its members to give us advice. And like many of the membership-based organisations and medical colleges I've dealt with, the members usually let boards and councils know exactly how they feel.
So you see there's no loss having no faculty representation on the board? There will be no Aboriginal faculty, no rural faculty, none of the other faculties?
Not necessarily, because the board will be focused on the operational aspects of that, budgets, finances, risk management, and the faculties themselves are focusing on clinical issues, policy issues, advocacy for the space in which they play.
Is this an untested model to a certain extent? Is it experimental?
Not at all. Many of the colleges, some of the larger colleges, have been moving in this direction over the last 3 to 5 years. I've changed a number of colleges in that period of time to have a smaller board which is much more operations focused, whilst providing for mechanisms for members to have a say, for advocacy and policy to flourish, in fact.
What about how it works in practice? Under this proposed constitution, the board will have the final say. So if the board disagrees with a council decision, they overturn it, it goes back to council, then it goes back to the board. Does it not become a rather laborious process?
It can be if there is a real tension between the two, and we prepare for extreme cases. My experience is that that is a rare situation, that in the main the board will play within the management space, the council will play within the policy and advocacy space. The council is broadly representative and broadly representative of the membership, so it would be a very brave board that said no to a very clear voice from the council representing the members.
Another issue raised is that of fiduciary duty. So you remove fiduciary duty from those who are making the clinical decisions. Is that wise, given they are often the most complex and certainly often also involve money?
Well, from a lawyer's point of view, the fiduciary obligations of directors are very clear, and it needs to include all aspects of the operation of a $60 million enterprise, which means finances, legal, risk management, contractual relationships, staffing issues, a whole range of issues. I would have thought a smaller board could better manage those sorts of fiduciary duties than a larger body that also has to encompass advocacy, policy and some of the broader issues that an organisation like the College of GPs would be involved in.
And not a weakness with the council members not having that duty?
No, I think in one sense it frees them up to have robust debates because everyone's not always going to agree. If they don't have to focus on the financial issues and the budgetary issues and the day-to-day issues without having the skill set necessarily for that, I see that as a plus.
Some say it's not broken, so why fix it?
I suppose that's always an argument for not changing anything. But it is a trend. It is a corporate trend and not just a medical college trend to have a smaller skill-based board. Most of the public hospitals across Australia and certainly here in Victoria have a 9 to 10 member board of a skills-based range of people who can cover those organisational and management issues that need to be covered. So this is not unusual. And it's, I suppose, in a sense, future-proofing the college.
Michael, many thanks.
Thank you.